My guests this week are Chris Murphy and Jay Ferguson of the band Sloan. Now more than 30 years into their career, Sloan has grown from a promising Halifax band into a revered indie rock institution, celebrated for their unwavering lineup and democratic approach, with all four members contributing as singers, songwriters, and multi-instrumentalists. The band has built a remarkable, diverse catalog, from power pop and punk-infused bursts to chamber rock and sprawling epics. Sloan continues to craft music that resonates deeply with listeners decades on. The band, which also includes Patrick Pentland and Andrew Scott, shows no signs of slowing down, with the return of their 14th studio album based on the bestseller, out on Rock Records. Staying true to Sloan's long-standing ethos of artistic integrity, enduring friendship, and creative equality, the album showcases their trademark ability to weave together a variety of styles and voices into one cohesive, unmistakably Sloan sound. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Revolutions Per Movie, Chris Murphy and Jay Ferguson. Hey, everybody.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hello, Chris. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Totally honored. I'm so excited because I feel like you can get a really good glimpse of the life and history of a band like Sloan through your vast music videography, many which have been directed by you, Chris. I do want to break down a bit before we get into the visual aspects of a band like Sloan, because I'm just really curious about how you put things together. So, like, let's say you bring in a song like Nice Work If You Can Get It. You bring in a song like Keep Your Name Alive. Where does the band at this point know where to join in and give it distance? Or I'm just really curious about the process with how you've made music for so long.
Well, first of all, those are two great examples of songs. Those are not really in, the Sloan canon. People don't know those songs. I understand that your question involved this far into it. How do you do it? But I like both those songs. But
they're brilliant.
We just give each other, like, we're a democracy in a way that it's not, I wouldn't even call it democracy. We're like city states that coexist. So we share space on the albums, but not necessarily in the songs themselves. So Patrick can come in with a song and say, here's how it goes. We're not a democracy where anyone can be outvoted or ganged up on. You can do whatever you want in your song, and you can solicit as much help as you want, but ultimately you're in charge of your real estate on the record. So if I want Jay to play a cool little guitar part, or he'll say, what about this? And I'll say, okay, well, let's try it, and we'll use it or not. And more often than not, I will. I think in the middle years, what we were always afraid of is like people contributing something to our songs that we didn't like. And then it's the painful process of, I don't like this. So then it really just became, okay, well, oftentimes people would just come in and they would play almost everything themselves. Sometimes they'll come to me to play bass. Sometimes they'll just play the bass themselves. But it's, whoever does it is in charge. For instance, with Nice Work If You Can Get It, I had that guitar figure in there. And other than that, it's a pretty easy just Beatles, just mid-period Beatles song. I don't know what there is to it. Nice Work If You Can Get It has that great kind of like direct guitar sound that Jay kind of loves. Or you can speak to that, Jay.
For my songs, I'll have sort of a sketch, or I'll make a demo of it, and I'll have an idea how I want it to go. But maybe, if I'm not in love with a certain part of the song, I'll turn to, more often than not, Chris for an idea, like either a musical idea, but definitely as far as bass parts and harmonies, I like to lean on Chris and the other members of the band, But like Chris says, everybody kind of is in charge of their own song at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Other people, if like you said, if you solicit some ideas, you can sort of, decide to listen to them or not. And I think most people are cool with that. And but at the end of the day, it's kind of your project and your piece of real estate on the record. And I like to think the thing that really, ties maybe potential disparate elements of a Sloan record together is the harmonies. Like Patrick will sing harmony on Chris's songs, Chris will do harmony on Patrick's songs, Chris will do harmonies on mine. And I think that is the kind of cohesion a little bit, in my mind, musically to our records, the vocal blend and the vocal sound, especially the blend of Chris and Patrick. But Chris singing on my songs, I think, is also very a reminder of a cohesion to a Sloan record.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to bring up, a great record that came late in your canon, like Steady.
How dare you bring up such
but
a good
but the
album?
funny thing is, like Dream It All Over Again, right? You
Mm.
guys are like weaving in and out. Patrick's just going, yeah, and then you step back. It's just so cool that a band like Sloan knows. I just feel like there's a respect in terms of like, all right, I kind of know when too much is too much, and I just wondered if that has gotten easier, just knowing the language and expectations of what you do when you bring a song in.
Well, you could sort of measure it in two different ways. On the records, where whoever is in charge of their real estate, and by the way, when we divvy up records, it's like everyone is invited to bring in as much as a quarter of the real estate. And if you don't have enough songs, I'm working on something extra just in case somebody's like, because I want the records to come out. Like, we're going to do it at this time. He's like, I don't have anything else. I was like, well, I have a fourth song. Let's go. But everyone's invited to contribute equally, and then those are the city states. Everybody's in charge, and you can be as ruthlessly. I need it to sound like Nick Lowe or whatever, or I need it to sound like Yngwie Malmsteen. Different people, but then
Yeah.
live, in terms of respect, you can see how much respect people have for each other. Is there a wah-wah solo on Keep Your Name Alive? Not on the record.
Right.
No, it's not
No,
that. It's not to that degree. I don't think. I know,
I'm joking.
So it's really interesting when it comes to making music videos, though. You're still making trailers, like fake movie trailers. I'm actually going to say they're real movie trailers for your new album. And one of the things I love about the band is everyone just shows up and puts on their outfits and does the thing. And it's like, we're going to make a science fiction, futuristic, Running Man kind of trailer for Live Forever. And everyone has to go like, okay, cool. What do you want me to do? I mean, it feels that in spirit. I mean, I don't know behind the scenes what it's like. And same with Dream Destroyer. It's like I saw online, you said, Patrick is kind of a combination between Freddy Krueger and Adrian from Iron Maiden as this villain. And I appreciate the fun that still goes into things that you make. Like, I just love that you can still get 4 people together to be, let's do this just wild, dumb thing, because that's the spirit of what we do.
There's definitely a little bit of, Chris can speak to this as well, but I think on the outside, I think that I love the trailers and everything, but there is definitely a little bit of coercing, behind the scenes to make sure everybody is there. But it is great that everybody is willing to participate. And, all of these trailers sort of stem from the album artwork. But anyhow, I'll let Chris talk about the trailer specifically. He's more cheerleading them for sure.
Jay is, it doesn't like, I think it's fun to kind of, I don't mean to make people into cartoons, but like Jay is very game. I'm like, we're going to U of T. I need you to dress like this, or he set me here's I'm going to wear this. What do you think of this? Like, it's fun for us.
Right.
And then for the other guys, I would say, Andrew, can you come to U of T? And he's like, no. Can we do this near my house? I'm like, okay. So we put him under an underpass. So he was there. He was game to dress in a ridiculous outfit, but he dresses like that anyway, like in an orange jumpsuit and a cowboy hat. That's what he might be wearing. Like on some, he dresses. He's like a fashion icon. Like, he's so good looking. He can pull off a great big foam cowboy hat. People are like, "Oh, that guy's so good looking."
It's funny too, because I feel like Andrew's arc in the videography of Sloan is very constant. Like, his energy in terms of being in it, from the first one that he does, you still feel like you're pulling him into the camera, but there's something so intoxicating about watching Andrew in a video. Kind of like I do feel like I feel this a bit of a, and I'm projecting, but a bit of an energy. Even in Coax Me, he like walks off immediately after he's done playing. And I'm like, okay, I get a sense of exactly who this guy is.
Yeah, he's very dependable, but he's kind of like he's there on time. He's there early, but like as soon as the last cymbal ring, it's like like you can hear his car leaving. But
Oh,
and sometimes I have on occasion or whatever, maybe all the time, like I feel like I just wish he wanted to hang out more. I wish that he wanted to goof around more. Like as a younger guy, like before the band, or even the early days, he was goofier than he is now. But I don't take offense when he's just like I don't think he's having a bad time. He's just not goofy like we are, or like I am. I don't mean to speak to you, Jay, but like Jay can be, you know, more visibly excited about things. And Andrew, he's not necessarily hating it, but he's just whatever. Like Jay and I would describe what we do as a fantasy. You know, we are music fans that grew up. You know, sometimes it's frustrating to make that science fiction trailer you're talking about. I think I spent as many man hours as I got likes on that thing, and
yes.
it's heartbreaking in some ways. We have an ongoing joke that we're not making music for you, we're making music for rock journalists in the future. And when we talk about these late period, dreaming all over again, your latest thing, like no, I fantasize that that will one day become our mid period. How
Totally.
why don't we just go forever? You know that becomes unrealistic at some point, but at one point our new stuff was action packed, and it's just like I guess maybe we're done, but like that's now our halfway point. And in terms of records, maybe not years, but
Yeah. And I also feel like there's something about making films for songs that kind of does give it another life in a funny way.
I think so too. I think that we kind of in the early 2000s, 2006 when we made our record called Never Hear the End of It, which is the beginning of our renaissance. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But we didn't make a video for Who Taught You to Live Like That, which was the lead single, because it was kind of like, well, who makes videos anymore? Who cares? But we should have. And we did later. We kind of retroactively made a video for that song, so it had a video.
Right.
I enjoy documenting us at every turn. So does Jay. And this movie thing, Jay, maybe just stop me from talking for a while. You can explain what we're doing.
Yeah, the little bit of the filmic angle or the way to promote the record sort of came about because of the artwork of the new album, which is called Based on the Bestseller. The album cover is essentially a movie poster that was actually printed. It's not, there's no Photoshop involved. Like Chris designed a movie poster, had it printed, had it folded, like folded the movie poster, went and made a talked to a local small cinema called the Review Cinema on Roncesvalles Street here in Toronto, asked them if we could put it in the marquee, close it, and then photograph that, and then that's the album cover. So all the information that you need to communicate on an album cover is printed, and it's done. That's some of my favorite artwork is like that. It's a little more ambitious. It still communicates everything you need, but it's just I think it helps stand out a little bit from regular, easily photoshopped artwork.
Well, and also the folding. I appreciate that because as a former video store owner who used to like, I'm going to put a poster of My Brother's Keeper up here and a poster of Happiness there. It's like you're getting these from movie theaters and they're just
Right, yeah.
trashed by that point. They've got all these pinholes in them and they've just, there's no value in it because every week they're bringing in something new. But for me, I was like, oh my God. So those little touches are real because as kids, along with rock posters, I definitely had movie posters on my wall that were folded to
Yeah, so it
hell.
was like
So
that little touch of whatever realism in the photograph, to make it whatever to make it look like it's a real movie hanging in a theater. Anyhow, so the stemming from that theme, I think Chris thought, oh, it'd be fun to make individual movie posters for individual songs, and then that sort of led to, making, why not make movie trailers for each of the, I mean, I think Chris ambitiously wanted to do it for all 12 songs on the record. We'll see if we get there, fingers crossed.
Oh, please
But
do.
if Chris has been doomed to the, whatever, chained to, Final Cut for the next, till Christmas. But anyhow, at least the first 4 songs that will be released kind of as teaser songs, introducing the album. So that's kind of where all of this filmic idea comes from. And then also within the graphics of the LP and the CD, we designed, or Chris photographed individual lobby cards that sort of fit along with this movie as well. So yeah, I kind of want to print them up and sell them at the merch table, but maybe we'll just make them into postcards. Anyhow, you heard it here first. We'll
As
see.
somebody who wanted 30 videos for, never hear the end of it, because I know you did a few of them, Flying High Again and stuff, but I was like, this needs a video for every song. It's so cinematic.
Those were cool. They were all shot on Super 8 and done kind of quickly in the same spot. But and there's a couple of little homages in there. There's like an homage to the Who the Seeker video was one of them, and but they're Super 8, as Chris will, I think, agree, has such a lovely texture. Not necessarily filmic. I know we're talking about more film stuff, but that's a nice. I think that's a nice little collection of videos that has a unique look to it.
Yeah, kind of a Music Loudon vibe,
Yeah, very much.
But we also have records as far back as 1992, and our representation online on YouTube and on these things. Some of the videos that we have on there are horrendous quality. So for those 3 Super 8 videos that we did in 2007, I had them retransferred 2 years ago, whatever it was, and I reconstructed the edits. I didn't technically direct the videos; they were directed by our buddy Mike LeBlanc. Yeah, and also maybe Scott Cudmore, was he involved? He was involved in Witches Wand.
Yes.
Anyway, but I just reconstructed. I just like traced the edits in 4K, so they're online right now. As they look great. So we have all the film, the developed film of all the videos we've made, and during the pandemic, like, we bought a beta machine and we were transferring all our old beta tapes, but again, standard definition. We've used some AI tricks to make them, at least they could be this big HD, but they're not 4K. But we don't. But those are for our early. We did we repressed our Smeared record last year and did a box set of our Smeared record. It was our first record, and we kind of like parted up the videos to HD using AI. But for some of these, we have the film. As I say, we did those Super 8 ones, and we're not the Rolling Stones. We don't have that kind of, we can't bankrupt ourselves constantly by doing this kind of thing. We don't make money to have a beautiful version of Flying High Again in 4K like this. But Jay and I especially we just feel like it just has to be done. We're just going to do it. It doesn't make us any money, but it's just our overall catalog. Like we are the stewards of our thing, and if no one else is going to do it, and we kept the film, let's do it. Anyway, so I know that you would appreciate it.
Well, I know that when you made the Coax Me video, it came out with like kind of this fake sheen on it that really bugged you.
Yes.
You wanted it to be like kind of a stark video on the fly, like where like the people in the control booth are picking the camera angles.
Yeah, it's like Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, exactly. Then they put this kind of like blurry filter on it. Have you been able to take that off and release it as you've wanted?
I'm disappointed that you don't know the answer to this. Yes, we did.
Okay, and cool.
We went back and
I'm trying.
I'm kidding. I transferred all of the raw footage for the Coax Me video. We had those tapes, and I retransferred them, and I recut Coax Me shot for shot. When did we do it? Was it 2 years ago, Jay?
I think so. Yeah, I forget when it was done.
It was probably 2024. I think it was the anniversary. It was the 30th anniversary of Twice Removed. I remade that video, and the only thing that I couldn't get is I couldn't exactly match the colors. In the middle, there's a middle section where like these color bars come down, and I did my best to copy the colors. So like if you were familiar with the original, you might say, oh, this looks different. Anyway, but yes, the kind of like the jerky, they tried to like retroactively create a filmic quality because when they saw it, they were like, this just looks like cable access. And we are like, yes, that's the gag. It will stand out.
That's what we want.
And then
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I've told the story before in a way that you've heard, but and then when the Big Bang Baby video by Stone Temple Pilots came out, I was basically in tears. I was like, this is phenomenal. This looks exactly like I wish. It's just stark video. I don't know if you remember it, but I was very jealous.
It's so weird because Sloan came up at a period where bands from the underground and independent bands were able to make music videos for the first time. Like the first couple videos where like, we're in a music video, you know, like we're going to New York and we're going to be shot.
Yes.
500 Up and Underwhelmed together seemed like a companion.
Same video.
Yeah, exactly. And it cracks me up because when I used to make videos for my band on Sub Pop and other bands, it was so funny how much of the meat got used. After a while, you're like, what do we like? The song is 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Like, do we have anything left on a B-roll? Like something of like the sky? What do we do? And then because all of our songs were so damn long back then.
Yes.
Because we were intoxicated by riffs and like, you know, oh, we got to repeat this. But I love watching those videos because you can see the excitement of your band being like, wow, we're doing it. We're in the conversation. We're making an actual video. But can you describe kind of your feelings about it, like making it and then what you felt after you saw everything?
I mean, to be honest, the first video that we made, well, I guess it's the first version of Underwhelmed that we made was made kind of on a budget, low budget in Halifax, and that would have been the version that's on the Peppermint EP. When we made the video for the version of Underwhelmed that's on Smeared, you're right, like we shot that in New York, and it was very exciting. But the day, I remember, started off very slow. I forget, maybe Chris remembers the name of the director, the
Noah Bogan.
Noah Bogan, who was fine and everything like that, but I didn't think he had any ideas, to be quite honest. Like he didn't really have any great inspiration, and we were kind of looking for things to do. And finally, when after shooting some things that were just kind of lame, I think someone was like, just go get a car and let's drive around areas of New York and we'll sit on the car and just improvise. And I thought that was probably when things got a little more fun and interesting and more, to be honest, it felt like they were a little bit more in our hands. And I thought the edit was good and exciting, as good as you could do based on the footage that we got that day. You know what I mean? And yeah, for sure, it was exciting. Like, I don't know if it was our first time in New York. Was that on the CMJ trip or that was later, I think? Is that right, Chris? I think it would have been another trip.
If we had been there before, maybe one time. I feel like it was the fall of '92.
Yeah.
Like November.
Yeah. On the A-sides, when documentary that you have about it, you say that it was when you went to CBGB's for the first time. It was that same trip. And there's footage from it, right?
There's footage of it, and I'm wearing a Stereolab shirt. We had just seen the first ever Stereolab show in North America, and we loved them so
that's
much.
Also cool. I forgot about the Super 8 footage from CBGB's. That's a nice interjection. Whatever. It's sort of just a fun goofing around video. But sorry, Chris, go ahead if you had anything more.
It's a dog's breakfast stylistically. It's something we probably wouldn't do anymore. We definitely were of the mind that they're going to show us how to do things properly. You know, I had been to art school, and so had Andrew. So I had made little films. The first Underwhelmed video that Jay's alluding to, like the idea of the video was just the idea of putting the camera on a Lazy Susan. So we constructed the motif of it's a spin the bottle game. So that's what we're cutting to, the spin the bottle game with another band from Halifax called Freshman Red and some of their girlfriends. But so like that was the extent of our like, what about this? Anyway, so it was at a time as well, like all we knew is we didn't want to make some kind of serious like narrative where like there's a businessman slumped over papers and just like it's just like all this embarrassing shit. So we were just like I mean, I'm so arrogant, or at the time, it was just like, what could be more fun than just us farting around for how long is it? 4 minutes 40? Yeah, just press like we'll do fun stuff. Or like the Beastie Boys, they're cool. Like let's just do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, you guys are dripping
yeah.
with charisma in that thing. It's so fun because, yeah, you're just staring down the barrel of the camera in both videos. But it's so funny when you make a video how you just don't know how long it is visually. So, like, if Andrew's going to turn around on the drum set and face the camera and sing for a bit, you're like used to that. And when you're playing, you're like, that's a little moment. But visually, it just goes and expands
Yeah.
and expands. And as a filmmaker and editor, you definitely have to either have a freaky knee-jerk response to like, oh, I need to make this more exciting, or you need to let it breathe. And sometimes neither is the right answer if you don't have enough footage.
I think from now, I never thought of it this way, but maybe from now on, we should talk about the underwhelmed, under the bridge, and the 500 up, kind of under the bridge as one 9 minute, 15-second video. It's like, how much footage is there?
They both got cars in it, you know, one's tiny, one's big.
That's true, yeah.
It's 9 minutes of excruciating. Like
It's a good illusion to the way the budgets were going. It was like we had a real car, and then the next one we had to have a Barbie car, basically. So yeah.
As a musician and a fan of yours as well, it is so frustrating to just think about you dropping such a masterpiece like your second record on the label and have them not hear it, right? Not have them feel it. But you still made videos, you still toured. Was it harder at that point? You knew you were right when you delivered it, right? I mean, such a great record. I mean, like you did with the Coax Me video, you're like, I want it to look like this. This is what we're wanting to get, right? You deliver a record and you're like, this is what it sounds like, right? You get it? And some people didn't. And I just wanted to know where you were at with that.
Personally, I mean, I always liked Twice Removed. Like I liked the way it sounded while we were making it, and I think it turned out to be a good record in hindsight. And maybe it's a little bit out of its time, although I don't really think it sounded that much different, really, than like Crooked Rain by Pavement. It was just like the. I think there's so many other factors. The people at Geffen who heard it, and by the way, our A&R person, Todd Sullivan, who signed us to Geffen, he was aware of the way the record sounded from day one. Like he was there when we made the demos, and he was there when we were recording some of it, and he heard the fun, you know what I mean? He participated. It was more the marketing people and the radio people at Geffen were like, okay, this is a band that sounded like A on the first album, and now they're delivering a record that sounds a lot different than that band. We don't know how to market this in the current climate of grunge radio, you know what I mean? Or bands or Smashing Pumpkins. Like, how can Coax Me compete with that?
Right.
It's a little short sighted, but I can understand, you know, when they're just trying to like put, you know, square pegs in square holes all the time. That's all. Like, they don't really want to have to fight to put something. I do think that if there was a bit more, I don't know, you know, creative thinking in a marketing department, I think Twice Removed probably could have done better. But that's just not the way it was. And they asked us to remake it, and we didn't. And we knew what we were up against going on tour and everything like that. But I think it wasn't beyond our, from my perspective, I don't think it was beyond our understanding what happened. You know, it's not like, hey, we're going out and there's no support. Like, what's going on? We were kind of aware
yeah,
of everything, the way it was going. So it was frustrating touring that record for sure. But we knew what we were up against. And you know, I think Patrick often feels like we should have made a record, taken those songs and made it sound more like Smeared, and then made Twice Removed maybe as our third record, or a record that sounded like that. Maybe that would have been a better path. But I think, you know, I don't want to speak for everybody, but maybe Chris and I feel like there was just a glut of post Nirvana bands that were just loud guitar bands, and that's all you heard. And I think we kind of wanted to maybe separate ourselves from that. Maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe we should have ridden that wave with the great songs that our band had. But I think we were trying to distance ourselves from that. And I think a band like Pavement did as well. Like Crooked Rain was like, was bigger than their first record, and they got so much attention. But, you know, and it sounded in my ears not that dissimilar to Twice Removed. But I think we just wanted to pull ourselves back and maybe associate with something different as opposed to the current glut of bands, and those were the repercussions of it. So
that's wonderfully said. My only addition to that is like our supportive A&R guy, Todd Sullivan, he also at the same time was signing and mentoring Weezer. So we sometimes joke that the first Weezer record should have been our second record, and then we would have been huge.
Yeah, right.
Patrick frames it like he knew about the Weezer record. He should have told us, like he was keeping it a secret from us or something. But I think that the Weezer would have been ignored too. Like Geffen is just like there were so many big acts, like asking about why they didn't like Twice Removed. It's like saying when Geffen was building this house, how come they painted the baseboards, matte instead of gloss? It's like they weren't paying it. It's like such a detail. They didn't care about us. Like we were just small. But
I was going to say, I don't mean to,
go ahead.
I just want to interject on the Weezer thing. Like, I think Chris is right. I think at first they didn't know what to do, what the single was going to be. And I think someone at Geffen reached out to like a guy in Seattle or Portland or something like that who was interested in the Weezer record. And they're like, what song are you guys going to play on the radio? And they're like, oh, we love Undone, the sweater song. And then Geffen
Right.
like, okay, that's the single. You know what I mean? There wasn't a grand Weezer, really took off. But again, it was just because they had a little spark in the Northwest and gave advice to Geffen, and Geffen like, okay, shrugged their shoulders and like, let's do that.
Well, it's as a listener, I mean, Pen Pals, I Hate My Generation, People of the Sky, Coax Me. It's just like such a heavy, beautiful. I mean, not many bands make a second record as good as that. So I just wanted to say that I just think it's a fantastic record. And I didn't know this part of your story, right? I didn't, till after, right? That this was kind of what had happened. And again, I think as kids who grew up in the 80s, we were used to bands shifting gears, like Life's Rich Pageant didn't sound like Murmur, and you had to be, are you cool with it? Are you not? But like they went where they went. But all surfers went where they went, So I just feel like, yeah, you're going to make what you make. And I just want to say that I love that you guys stuck to your guns and were like, no, this is the record. We love the way it sounds. The songs are there. You did a lot of music videos for this. Even that hazy I Hate My Generation demo version of U2, like I really enjoy it. It fits. I love that song. So it's just really fun to see the two of you just in a white space.
When we were technically going down the tubes at Geffen, first of all, like their ability to appreciate us, it never didn't hurt my feelings or anything. As Jay says, like we made their job difficult. We came in with a very different sounding record, and we were all insisting that we all take turns singing. That was another thing. They were kind of like, it's harder to market, like who's singing this song now? But whatever. It's not like everybody we met at Geffen was super cool. They're all hipsters and cool people, and like I saw the Bad Brains reunion in 1982, and it's like, cool people. But anyway, I was going to say, we made the Coax Me video, so not very much fanfare, and then we were in LA, and I went basically to ask. We made the People of the Sky video in somebody's backyard in LA, and we went to Todd Sullivan to ask him for the money. Like, can we have $2,500 to make this People of the Sky video in somebody's backyard? And he's like, oh, sure. By the way, I want to show you this video that Weezer did of Buddy Holly. And I basically had tears in my eyes. I was like, it's so good. We are dead. Like we're over. Like and the other thing is, I don't want to talk about what a coward I am. I would have redone all the songs. Like luckily I had these guys who were going to stick to their guns. I was just like, I'm just happy to be here. I can't believe we're in Los Angeles.
Sure.
What was our frame of reference before this? Like the Jellyfish Babies were the biggest band in Halifax. They made a record, and 400 of them are under somebody's bed. Like there was nothing. We didn't know anybody. But looking back, like Geffen not loving us, like all of our favorite bands, like they're not all our favorite bands, not all of them, but a lot of our favorite bands are not going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it doesn't mean that they're not. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be great. That they're not great.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to just tell you that Jonathan Pondman from Sub Pop told me I should have cut my hair at one point. So because long hair was going out. So indie, big, small, it doesn't matter. It's so weird. It's like, it doesn't make any sense at all. So was the first video that you made The Good in Everyone? Was that the first one that you kind of had more control over with the Easy Rider?
Well, I didn't make anything. I don't consider myself really made anything like acting director. Like Jay and I are of a piece. I ended up having more editing skills than Jay later, but in these early days, we just worked with Good and Everyone is where we really were able to kind of take control. Coax Me, we wanted that to be that way. People the Sky was a little bit random. It's just, again, it's another kind of version of just walking around in New York under the bridge, but we're just like in someone's backyard goofing around. But yeah, The Good and Everyone is conceptual. I would credit Jay as coming up with the concept.
I was going to say, I think Andrew, I think it was Andrew who actually said, like, let's just do a scene from Easy Rider, because I didn't even know the. I mean, embarrassingly, I didn't even. It's like I've never seen The Godfather. I don't think I'd even seen Easy Rider all the way through. You know what I mean?
I'm not familiar with that.
Right. However, I have seen, I don't know, like Graffiti Bridge in the theater,
Right.
but I've not seen Easy Rider. just to know where I'm coming from. That's like a blind.
No, we all have blind spots. Even with this show, I can't act like I saw Spice World 200 times when the guest comes in. I have to be like, I saw it in passing. I don't remember it. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
That's right. But, I've seen Rules of the Game 100 times.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Let me tell you where it comes from. But no, I thought it was Andrew's idea. And there was a woman who we were friends with. Yeah, it was who we all knew. Andrew and Chris knew her a lot more. There's a woman named Jenny McGinnis who worked at a film company. She's originally from Halifax. She worked at a film company called Revolver here in Toronto, and she kind of made it happen. And I remember,
she's a producer.
She's a producer, yes, and she really, sort of steered, or helped us steer videos for a number of years, and make sure we got videos done the way we wanted, and we were paying for them and stuff. But Chris would have definitely taken the helm as time goes on. But I remember the night before watching that scene in Easy Rider and just like trying to like learning how to act and the Phil Spector part or whatever.
Oh, you guys nail it. It's amazing.
It's fun. Like, I think, and also there's two different edits. There's the edit that's just the performance, and then there's the edit that's 4 minutes long that has all the acting ahead of time that really mimics the.
Yeah, the acting's longer than the song. It's
yes,
like,
which I think is amazing.
And all of the planning and prep and time was spent on that. It was like take 6 of Patrick opening a door, but then when it came to the performance, it's like starting to rain. I think we should probably play through the song 3 times.
Well, I know, Chris, that you storyboarded a lot of some of the later videos and stuff like that.
I probably storyboarded that. I'm not sure. I usually do. I mean, but that's purely copying. I was like, we need this scene and it pans. We need this scene and there's a zoom.
So in terms of casting that one, did everyone know where they wanted to go?
Yes, there was a fight. Well, Andrew was like, clearly I'm Peter Fonda. And I was like, dude, I have to be Peter Fonda. I have the glasses. And also you can have a fake mustache and everyone's going to talk about how good looking you are. You could basically put a bozo wig on and everybody be talking about how. So I was like, please be Dennis Hopper. Let me squeeze into these leather pants and be Peter Fonda. It wasn't a fight, but I had to make my case. But there were really only 3 characters. Like poor Patrick, basically just holding the door, and it's his song. I feel coming back. It looks cool.
Yeah. Well, he gets to rock and sing.
Exactly.
How did you plan it so they're like, roll the camera, the airplane is coming now?
It's pre-9/11. Yes. Yeah, we were at the end of we were inside the airport.
Oh.
We were at the end of the runway. It's definitely pre-9/11.
Wow.
Rules. We're just fucking we're like this over the crest of the hill was the runway.
You just go, hey, we're Sloan. Let us into your airport we're going to shoot at the end of the runway. We're Sloan. Come on.
We sold 9,000 copies and twice removed in Canada.
That's right.
I can't believe they let us do it.
When you're making these videos, What were your outlets in terms of them being seen?
And that would have been 1996. So the main outlet would have been Much Music in Canada. It's basically, the music channel that, you had MTV in the States. We didn't have MTV up here. We had Much Music, and we had enough goodwill there. They had criticized, like I said, Coax Me before and put that in light rotation because it looks like video. And then, of course, the year later, they play the Big Bang Baby video in high rotation. But we knew people there, and I think, you know, they're probably waiting for us to deliver something awesome that they could put in high rotation. And I think,
Right.
The Good in Everyone, when that came in, I think it went in at medium. I think they're like, oh, this is interesting. And then when it started to snowball a little bit, it went up to heavy rotation and made in their top 20 and that sort of thing. So much music was the primary outlet. And then any TV show in Canada that was like an entertainment news thing, it was something for them to show.
But I love that so many of your videos have these tributes in it. The one that you did the Privilege tribute to
She says what she means.
Sir with Love tribute at the beginning of another video.
Mhm.
That's the lines you meant. Yeah.
Like, who was coming up with these ideas to be like, I just saw Privilege, or I've heard of Privileged, and like I want to make something that's going to be a little different.
Those are both Jay. To Serve with Love and Jay and Privilege were both Jay's
Okay.
things.
Privilege, I was turned on to as a movie by just a guy who I knew in Halifax, a guy who had a record store. His name was Frank Brady in Halifax. And I think he turned me on to the soundtrack. It's the soundtrack is sung by Paul Jones, who was the singer of the band Manfred Mann in the 60s, and he stars in the movie as well. And I think he sold me the soundtrack, and I loved it. And then another friend of mine named Stephen Cook is also a big movie music file guy in Halifax. He got obsessed with the movie. He finally tracked it down, like on a bootleg VHS, and then made a copy for me. As this is pre-DVD days. This is like late 80s,
Sure.
early 90s.
No, I had a bootleg copy at the store.
Yeah,
VHS.
yeah.
Made my own box.
Mine might have even come from yours. Who knows? Like down
Yes,
the line,
exactly.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So I loved it, and I think it was just it was something that was always in my wheelhouse. I loved the album, and I thought the movie was really cool. And I think we were coming up for video ideas, for example, for that. I think I showed some of it to Chris, and he thought it would make a good idea for a video as well.
I know in the A-Side Wins documentary, you say it's considered a great misunderstood video. I mean, it's so funny. They're just basically at the top, like there's this, kind of government person being like, Sloan will give people a reason to live, kind of basically. It's like, it's so funny. And then it's, the distance between the audience and the stage breaks down. I mean, that's a really gorgeous looking video with all the flame. And I don't know, it must have been fun to like walk into that set and been like, this looks great. Let's do it.
This costs a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Our money. Sorry, Chris.
Yes.
It cost. We were paying for we thought we were smart. We owned our own stuff and we paid for our own. But that cost $65,000 in 1998. Like it was crazy. Like the budgets just kept going up and up. Partly because, as we were at least perceived as being a bigger and bigger band, you have to pay people properly, or and an $18,000 budget and $24,000 budget might be the same video, but it's just like 6 months later when like we better pay these people properly. They did it for nothing last time, but that was $65,000, and the song itself, like it's just like I love the song. I think it's like basically the coolest recording in our catalog. It sounds so great. But it's not a single. Like it's just like a whole bunch of parts smashed together. It's crazy. Like I love it, and I love that we made that video. But now, with the mortgages and all, before we had mortgages, it's like, yeah, let's spend $65,000. Like, well, it's just. Anyway, it's cool that exists because we're like, as a 56-year-old guy, I'm just like, there's this great 35 millimeter footage of me I look like $1 million. Like that's the best I ever looked. Like I'm so happy that exists. I didn't know it at the time, but I would never look better than it. And then fast forward to the sci-fi trailer that took me a month. I got 500 likes. Doesn't matter. But I squeezed back into that same red suit from that Janny had tailor made for me. So I'm in that suit, in the Says What You Mean suit, run around in the sci-fi epic.
Oh my God, you're right. Not many 56-year-old rockers can say that they can still fit into the suit. So you should be, it's half the battle, my friend.
I think I was squeezing into it even then. So
You know, we talked about the "To Sir with Love" tribute at the beginning of The Lines You Meant. That also was a really shockingly beautiful, like, video. I kept wondering, like, there's no way that can be real audience members all the way. That's gonna be like mannequins or something when it finally gets into you shooting this beautiful black and white film. But then online, you put together like a color version, like kind of
yeah,
a recreation of it. And it was really cool to see, like,
yeah,
oh wow, like the camera is jammed right against a wall facing that way. And there are actual humans out there. Like,
yeah,
how did
for
you
sure.
cast something like that?
Well, we were at the height of our powers, as it were. Like that was December '96, and and Good and Everyone came out in May '96, and so from May to December, that's as big as we got. Like so in Canada we were. I should say I just wanted to go back and just say quickly, Much Music, the Canada's MTV, as it were. They have Canadian content regulation. They have to play a certain, in order to have their broadcast license, they have to play a certain amount of Canadian content. So that benefits groups like us. We had learned in the early days, we shot Underwhelmed in New York with an American director. So it didn't qualify for Canadian content. So it didn't get played by Much Music. And they were basically waiting for us to make something with Canadian content intact or whatever. So they were never adversaries of ours. They were just like waiting for us to do it, as Jake said. But anyway, so we were getting played a lot. You know, we would have been contextualized with the Nirvana and the Beastie Boys, and like we speak like we're, you know what I mean. When you're on the radio and you come after, people just think that these guys are huge, and we had a leg up for sure. We were friends with a lot of people doing it at the time, most of which are gone now. But we realized that we had a privileged position, privilege as it were. We were on the radio, we were on TV. So all that to say, we were a known band, and then I think we just put it out. I don't know how we did it.
I don't know. I'm not even sure. Like, I think it might have been Revolver Films somehow put out a casting call, but somehow our fans knew about it because a lot of the people there were people I recognized from Sloan shows as well.
It's just Sloan fans.
So yeah, we got about 500 people to come to this York University, north of Toronto or north in Toronto, and we're kind of in like a big lecture hall. And as Chris said, or as you're saying, like there's a camera, in front of us or sort of behind us, so you could see our backs, and then like a proscenium of hundreds of kids. And then it wasn't an in the round thing, but then we would film ourselves playing it facing that way, and then we would turn around and face the board and the camera, and then there'd be kids behind us, and then it was all edited together to make it look like we were kind of in the round. But there's definitely, I think they had 400 or 500 people there to make it look good, and it makes it look big and special and everything like that.
I think our only reference point was a photograph of the Rolling Stones in a long lens, where it was like a picture of the band, and then behind them, from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen, there were people all the way through the screen. That was our only reference point. And you know, it would have been nice to get a little bit more space. Like we really couldn't be photographed front on with the crowd behind us because it just wasn't room.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Like you set up all this stuff, you spend all this time, and it's so exciting. But then you're like, yeah, we're limited. Like we can't move back. Like the space, we can't do it.
No, we made the best of it. It looked that's our most beautiful looking video.
I feel like the ones where the band steps out of the focal point, like it's everything you've done wrong, or
Yes.
if it feels good, do it. Where you've got people talking over it, talking about,
Mm.
it's about freedom, the odd chick, broken strings, and it kind of breaks in.
Yes.
And, I always feel like I can see even like a little discomfort with the concept, maybe. Am I wrong? Am I projecting here? Like, because at some point you're making all these things, you gotta give over to talented people to trust them. And sometimes it just doesn't land.
No, you just end up having to figure out how to do everything yourself. The Everything You Done Wrong video, our original thing was we wanted it to be like a Godfather wedding. Like like an Italian wedding or something, or just like a
Wow.
beautiful like wedding scene, and it just ended up being essentially like a Jerry Lewis movie or whatever. It was fine. It got played a lot on TV. Like I guess that was the point, that like I felt goofy, like we were in satin shirts. Like I was like, we have to wear this, and we're barely in it, but whatever. It was a success. It was fine. Andrew's wife is the bride. It was kind of all in the family. So many people that we know are in the background, are extras. Our manager at the time, Chip Sutherland, he's there as a priest. It's just all very funny to us. But and all that kind of like people talking about what rock and roll means to them, I kind of hated it. Like I didn't care about any of that stuff. Thought it was interesting in the end. Like some of our friends who did it, who were just saying the funniest stuff. But like some of the people who came in were just like from a casting call, like just like
Sure.
some beautiful girl. I'm just like, this person doesn't know who we are. Like just felt goofy. But
Yeah,
whatever.
you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another edit of the video with all of that out, and it's just performance and
Yes, I've seen
whatever.
that.
Yeah, and I really love just performance videos when I see a rock band. I mean, whatever. The Beastie Boys, it's funny when they're doing scenes and stuff, but I love whatever. I just want to see the Rolling Stones, you know, doing Start Me Up, just performing in a room or whatever. Like that's kind of what I love seeing. But so I like the edit without the people, but I understand how the people in it maybe makes it a little more interesting for Much Music, you know.
Well, I like, Jay, there's some good videos where you're just standing there with your hand on your hip waiting for it to come in. And I'm like, that's a power move. I like that. I like things like I like rock,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I like when you're waiting for the things to kick off. You guys know how to do good leg kicks. You guys are charismatic to the max in your videos. And so I feel like any time where it's like, well, wouldn't it be funny if the waiter loses his glasses? It's like that's hard to pull off even if there's not a band in the video. You know what I mean? And I feel like your sense of humor is coming from a different place than that.
I don't love that video, but I intend to do a 4K version of it. I don't care, but like I just like whatever. I was accusing Jay of like budget be damned, but I'm kind of budget be damned when it comes to just the archiving of our legacy or whatever. Like I just want everything to be in as nice a form as it can be. I mean, Jay does too, but we're pretty agreed there. But yes, that Jerry Lewis kind of crap is. I mean, at the very least, it should have been one of us doing it. Like, who's this guy? Whatever. He's a nice guy, Michael Waller. I think that's who was that?
Yeah,
Anyway.
right.
So there's a couple things that are really funny that Andrew's talked about with music videos. One is just how bummed out he was with the lights in the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like he had the specific idea of this is going to be so cool. And like I watch it and I'm like, the lights don't bug me. But like, what was he seeing in that he didn't get? Because he kind of got involved in that. He had an actual idea for the video that didn't come
I'm
to
just looking
fruition.
up the guy's name. I think it's Dan.
Oh, it's Dan Flavin or Flavin. Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce
Dan
it.
Flavin.
I think he had he's an artist who does stuff with long fluorescent tubes, tubes of light.
Mhm.
And I don't know what he was looking for exactly, but maybe it just seemed like maybe it was watered down or something like that. The other fun thing was we actually were able to take those long tubes of lights and bring it on tour with us and hang it behind. And I thought that was that made for
Right.
a striking, visual or a look for a stage when we were playing live. But yeah, I remember Andrew using that reference at the time, but I don't know what he wanted and what he didn't get exactly, to be honest.
There was something he was inside too that didn't get used. Like they shot him in like some sort of light dome.
Right. I forgot about that.
There are.
Yeah.
Speaking to like for fans only, if you go back and you look through the Sloan cards that we had made in about 2003, that light dome, there's a picture of that light dome in one of the cards. So if you get the whole set, you might see it.
And did he really cry when he was pushed in the Losing California video?
No, he did not.
Okay.
But that's a great scene.
Again, and when you guys talk about that video.
Oh yeah, Andrew made fun of it pretty bad.
Yeah. And you said, Chris, you say like the band was losing confidence in you as a director in that. And it was an expensive video to make.
Yes. And it didn't get played that way.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a cool
It's
video.
great.
It's just pure personality. And again, I don't know Andrew, but I'm getting to know Andrew through all these things, right? And he's definitely exudes a certain type of personality. Same with Patrick. And I just love that the video kind of broke everyone up into different places, switched things around. And that must have also been really complicated technologically at the time, to have things going all the way around you and being able to add different versions of yourself being pulled in through the edit. It's like, I don't even
Yes.
know how you did it back then.
Yeah, so I didn't edit that. That was shot by Mike Andringa, the guy who did run of a bunch of those videos. And what was her name? Susan. She ran a machine called the Flame at the time, which was like a heavy duty computer that could, with the power of an iPhone, basically, probably now. But you know, the idea of like all that processing that went into all of the different green screen versions of us on there. Yeah, that was complicated to do. It took a lot of drawing, but I think it looks cool. Like, I guess it's technically a bit of a failure, but like again, when I think about transferring things in 4K, I don't think I'll ever be able to recreate that. I'll just have to bump that up a little bit with AI, because it would take so much post. Same with Money City, which is like the song that basically paid for our whole career, Money City Maniacs. The video for that has all kinds of graphic background elements that I could probably recreate, but I don't know if I'll bother.
Wow. That's a Saul Bass one?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be hard to redo. But I was going to say of Losing California. Oh yeah. So conceptually, it's a little bit about my frustration with the fact that our band can do anything. It sort of shows our bands in the different configurations. Like, well, we can do this. We can also do this. We can do this. But and then all of those different configurations, except for configuration one, kind of get frustrated and end up sort of like saying, I guess this is what we're known for. Because at the time, I think that I think I was frustrated by the fact that it seems that the only thing that we're rewarded for is a version of what we've already done, and we have so much variety within the band.
The other thing that I love about you is that you'll just make stuff like The Emperor Slaps Back, a short film.
I can't believe this is receiving discussion or analysis. I love it though. It's so stupid.
It's so great, because this is the kind of thing that like people talk about, but you do it. And I love that about you, because I feel a kinship. It's like, no, let's do it. I can describe it, but do you two want to set it up what it is? And
I want you to describe it. I want you to describe it.
Okay. So Jay's basically at home, lounging on the couch, watching. What film are you watching?
I forget what it was, but it's TCM. I think the joke is like, anybody comes over here, TCM is basically on like 24/7.
Okay. Yeah, you're watching it, and meanwhile, Chris is in the studio. Well, and also you're looking at font books, which I thought was really funny. I'm like, you're just like, I'm watching TCM and flipping through a font
typical
book.
day. Typical day.
It could have been it could have been a hidden camera.
Yeah, and so Chris, you're in the studio, and they're playing back the music, and you say, "Hey, can you add some reverb?" And who's that playing? Who's producing? Is that your producer?
That guy, it's Ryan Haslett, who's recorded all of our records. He was an assistant on Never Hear the End of It, and I don't know how much he did on Parallel Play, maybe, but then after starting with what comes after that.
He assisted on Parallel Play, but then on Double Cross and sorry, the Hit and Run EP was the first one, I think. He recorded alone.
He's been our guy since for 15 years or more.
Yeah, I figured that wasn't stunt casting. I was like, this person seems real. And he's like, sure. And the minute he does it, back in Jay's pad, this red siren goes off on top of the TV. The reverb light comes on, and the siren comes on. And is it almost a Post-it or an index card on it? Like, that says
It's,
reverb.
it's like a piece
Yeah,
of
yeah,
tape.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cheap. It's
Just
Yeah, exactly. It's so great. This is not something you could pick up at Radio Shack. This has been custom made, this reverb light. Of course, Jay, you have to pick up the phone, call the studio. Hey, did you happen to use any reverb? And you're like, yeah, yeah, okay. And then yeah, it's just, again, this is the kind of stuff that you talk about in a van or a
yeah,
practice space or having coffee, and but there's truth to it. Like, I get the joke, like, Chris, you talking about the dry sound, direct sounds that Jay likes, and you're in there being like, yeah, wet it up, like, let's go. It's
but
like,
so I am trying to remember. So this is 2011. Did It was probably based on the fact that Ryan Haslett was probably trying to put reverb on it, saying it would be cool, and I was like, "Well, I'm not allowed to use reverb." Jay, Jay
allowed.
wasn't there. I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to make this kind of decision." Like, anyway, and he would be making fun of me like I'm like afraid of Jay, like this mild mannered guy. Anyway, but I maybe we used reverb in the end on that. I don't remember. That song in particular was kind of like a non-album track, so I may have been allowed to use it. I don't remember, but I can't remember. So
oh,
just
so
picture,
funny.
Jay. This we won't talk about this much longer. But did we have the idea when we were at the studio, and then we called you, and then we're like, yeah, we'll have to come and video the other end of this conversation later. Like, anyway, it's I love that it's being acknowledged. It's goofy stuff. It's like part of the anyway. A guy like you would appreciate. Yes, it's great.
That's good, yeah.
It's part of the makeup of Sloan.
It's such a footnote, but it's so funny and it's very character
Character
driven
driven, yeah,
stuff. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
I want to I want to I want to accentuate the fact that we have the same guys, and we have, for better or for worse, we have to interact and we have to coexist, and sometimes the fights are real, but a lot of times the fights are just like, Patrick's the rocker, Jay likes AM pop, like these are cartoonish caricatures, but like I don't mind accentuating the ways that we argue in a fun way. I don't want to talk about real fights that we might have or something.
That's interesting because, like, the Scratch the Surface video is like equal 25%. Each of you have your own sections. How did that come about, and did the same person film all 4 of those segments for you?
Yes, that was basically our friend Harris Chahayich basically learned how to use a drone, and it's like, oh yeah, we should use that. We should, like, all that footage of downtown Toronto. It just looks like $1 million. Like, I mean, maybe now it's more pat and people, like, at the time anyway, I was just like, this looks like a Michael Bay movie or whoever. Like, I don't even know who
Absolutely.
I'm like, this is unbelievable. This looks like $1 million budget. And so let's just use that. And then, Patrick's song is like When You're Alone in the City. So like it's just like shots of the city, and then it's like, Jay with his records, Patrick walking around alone in the city, Andrew and his Andrew, similar to the sci-fi thing, is like, can I do it at my house? And sure, yes, you don't have to leave your house. So he's painting in the basement, and I don't know what mine is, like riding the subway.
Was
like,
there a drone with you in the subway?
Well, I think there's one where I'm coming up the subway stairs.
Right. Okay.
So no, I don't think there's any droning in the subway.
Okay.
But,
I was like, I was like, after watching it a few times, I was like, wait, if they put a drone in there, that's pretty ballsy. But
I think all we did was, like, as I came up the stairs to the street, there's one coming up like this.
Well, again, getting to know Sloan through a video, 2 things. 1, Chris, you looking for change in a phone booth.
That's funny.
Right. I'm like, I know who you are, right? And it's such a little thing. And you, Jay, going through all the records that are in a park, in a free records thing, you hop off your bike, you look over, there's like a Jay Ferguson record by somebody else. But also you do this amazing eye roll when you get to the Stranglers black and white album. And I'm like, wait, what happened there? Like, did he get bullied by one of the Stranglers? What's going on?
I feel like I've never got more online blowback
Really?
from dissing the Stranglers in the video. It's sort of a joke between a little bit between Chris and I. It's like, yeah, Jay, like one of my most disliked artists is like the Stranglers. When actually, I
Yeah.
probably like a couple of songs by them.
Right. No, and then you're like, this is what I'm taking. I'm leaving that other shit in the park and I'm out of
That's
here.
right. Yeah, exactly. I could have done it to Jefferson Airplane as well. That's my other, historically band that I dislike. Even though whatever, they have good songs too.
Well, you kept the Evaporators and you kept the Sha Na
Yeah.
Na and you kept the Jay Ferguson
Yeah.
record. I mean,
All the
it's
gold, all
like,
the gold, yeah. But I thought back to Chris's scene. I thought Chris checking the change in the phone machine, which was funny, but also speaks to the budget consciousness of Chris's character. So I thought that was a nice touch. There you go.
it's just, I love that 30 years on, you're still, radiating yourselves in these videos, which I really appreciate. They're just so fun. And so many times bands get caught up in how am I going to look, or, I don't want to be goofy, or, I'm just going to show up. And I don't know. I just appreciate that you're still in love with, as somebody who loves and grew up loving music videos and music films. I just love that you're a band that has never shied away from having yourself represented this way still.
I think it's important to me, anyhow. Like, there's so many bands that I like who have made terrible videos, but as like you said, we probably grew up in the same generation of watching Friday night videos, before MTV
Totally.
or
Night Flight.
not sure any of these sort of shows. We had some different ones in Canada, but I remember Friday night videos started at 12:30 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So I had to set the VCR timer, to go for 90 minutes on SLP so I could get as many episodes as possible.
The cool kids were watching it. Jay was taping it.
Well, Chris's famous quote was like, if he was in grade 8, he had to go to bed at 8 p.m. I'm just sort of kidding.
I did. I pioneer parents.
But no, it would have been too late to stay up, or like I had to get up and work on Saturday morning. So, but anyhow, being a child of and loving music videos, like, and watching them over and over, just because a big thing about growing up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, we didn't get like Duran Duran is not coming to Halifax, or
Yeah.
REM is not coming to Halifax. So you see a video for Union of the Snake. I was like, oh my God, it's on next week. I can't wait for this video because I want to see them. I just want to see them walk and talk. You know what I mean?
That was too late. That was too late.
Yeah, I know, it's too late.
I was over them by then.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm really romantic about the band has to be the same guys. Like if anybody leaves, like that sucks. I'll be devastated if it happens. But so a lot of what we would have made records more often. If it were up to me, we would have done more than we've done. But you have to learn that some people can't do it all. You have to. What I've had to learn is like to have the patience to wait for people. So I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to whatever go so hard that we end the band in a fight on the side of the road or something. It's like you just have to wait. It's like here's what this person has the temperature for, and well we can do that, and then that means the band can be intact, and being intact this long, we are in rare territory. It's like with the U2s, and like not many people can do it, and it's you know yes, two people a lot of the time, especially with visual, like are being dragged along, and they kind of play that character even in the videos that we make. It's like, look at Andrew's expression in the Unkind video. Like that guy is furious.
Yes.
Like that guy does not want to be there. So I don't want people to have to do stuff they don't want to do. I get a kick out of the fact that he's like scowling, but I don't want to whatever. We don't have to do it that often. But anyway, Andrew's awesome. And the other thing about being goofy, you were talking about having, so I'm glad that you're goofy. It's like I can be the biggest goof in the world, and Andrew is still in the band pulling all the weight of being cool. And I can be as goofy as I want, but I still have the fawns in the band.
It must be really nice to be in a band where like you can just musically rely on people's ideas being to make your songs greater.
I feel that way for sure. Sorry.
Well,
I was only going to say, like, I feel like I have Chris to lean on with great bass ideas and great harmony ideas that I would not come up with at all, and also arrangement ideas. Like, it's funny you touched upon "Dream It All Over Again" a while ago, and I had that song kicking around for a couple of albums, and what became the chorus was originally the bridge, and I think Chris suggested, like, that should be the chorus. I was like, oh yeah, you're right,
Wow.
that's great. So the pieces were there, but or the essential pieces were there, but it needed a good bass part and maybe some arrangement. So for me, I happily look to Chris, or even Gregory, who plays piano with us. He'll come up with some harmony ideas from time to time. So I find it elevates my songs without a doubt. For
I
sure.
was just going to say that even if song for song we're not doing it, but we're sharing the space of the album, and I really value what everybody brings. Andrew's is the most outside. Like he's making music that to me just seems like it's from outer space.
Yes.
Like I couldn't do it. Like Jay brought in a song. I could have done something like that or Patrick. Like with Andrew, I'm just like this guy. I don't always love the songs even, but everything he does, like I just feel it comes out of the mind of a true artist.
Yeah, it feels at home on a Sloan record. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of what you guys have made over the ages. I'm just really honored to have got to spend time with you today.
Yeah,
big fan.
It's fun to talk to someone who clearly gets all of our references and appreciates the kind of, whether people are listening or not, effort that goes into things that we do.
It's so much work. That's the thing I also appreciate. I know what it's like. It takes not only time and energy, but like there's a certain mental mind frame you have to do when you are the subject of a music video,
Yeah.
and to make it feel like it represents who you are. And I think you guys have done that over and over again. Even if, like you said, Andrew looks pissed in it, it's where he's at. And you wouldn't expect anything more. It fits him because it is him.
He's cool, and he's like a wicked player. Like he's the world class player of all of us. Like we have a great asymmetrical balance. Jay and I think Jay and I do good artistic things, but we do a lot of the administrative and boring stuff. Patrick's songs have generated the most money. Andrew's is the special player, guitar and drums. Like I really want to emphasize, and I think it's apparent that like it wouldn't be the same without any one of us. It's a great organism.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to say that I will put links to all of the videos on your YouTube channel so people can go down the rabbit hole with them. It's an amazing body of work from an independent band that just still is doing it. So thank you. At the end of every episode, I ask the same question, but I tailor it depending on what we're talking about. And since your trailer for Dream Destroyer was rated MUR 81, MUR 81, I want to ask, on a scale of
That's Jay's character.
There you go. Because of your label.
Yeah.
On a scale of MUR 1 being the lowest and MUR 81 being the highest, what do you give the body of music video work of Sloan on a scale of MUR 1 being the lowest to MUR 81 being the highest?
I mean, I think it's pretty up there. I'll give it like 75 or something. I mean, it's hard to beat the Rolling Stones or Daft Punk or like the Beastie Boys. Like those guys have these videography that is just unbelievable.
I'm grateful we went through the '90s and stuff unscathed. Like the amount of video proposals that we saw from directors, they're kind of like, wow. I wish I had them all to publish. Like, can you put, like as Chris said, the old man slumped over the papers at a bar while with wind blowing, sort of stuff.
Right.
But I don't know, what would it be? I'll give the same MUR. I'm going to do MUR 76. I'm going to rate it even just a little bit higher.
The answer was 78.
Oh, hey.
It was MUR 78, nice. So you were close, but you lowballed it a little. Yeah, we'll get together and we'll talk about Under the Cherry Moon and Ferry Across the Mersey soon enough. Thank you both so much, and congrats on the record.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for having us, Chris.
Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you later. Thank you for listening to Revolutions Per Movie. We release new episodes every Thursday on your favorite podcast app and additional bonus episodes every Sunday on our Patreon. The show is a completely independent affair, so the best way to support the show is through our Patreon at patreon.com/revolutionspermovie, where you can get weekly bonus episodes and shows, exclusive limited edition flexi discs and records and CDs featuring guests that have appeared on the show, and other exclusive goods sent to you just for joining. You can follow us on social media at Revolutions Per Movie and also find out more information about our various guests in the episode show notes. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye!